Show broadcasting live and available on demand on your favorite streaming channels.
We are proud to announce that YouTube has recognized Queer News Tonight, certified by analytics company vidIQ as the world's most popular LGBTQ streaming news show. Our queer stories have reached over 10 million views.
We are proud to have more than 1,000 new subscribers in the last month, and that Queer News Tonight has more YouTube subscribers than any other LGBTQ brand in Florida.
Over 500,000 of you have watched this show in the last 90 days. We thank you for watching and supporting our voice in the LGBTQ+ community.
There is no other news program in the LGBTQ world like Queer News Tonight.
It is Monday, January 20th, and we are live and literally out of the closet and into the headlines. So many of your important stories we will tell this evening on Queer News Tonight.
This is the world's first live daily LGBTQ evening news show, literally out of the closet and into the headlines on Queer News Tonight.
Welcome to the world's most important LGBTQ+ evening news show.
Hotspots Magazine, Happening Out Television Network, is a nonprofit 501c3 media company in the same model of PBS and NPR, but designed for the LGBTQ community.
Our nonprofit mission is to support the 11 pillars of our LGBTQ community. We want to inform and educate the key issues of lesbian, trans, Latino, Black, healthcare, seniors, students, faith, social justice, and business, and queer culture. Help us support a diverse community.
We are part of one of the largest LGBTQ+ nonprofit media companies in America, Hotspots Magazine and Happening Out Television Network.
In 2025, our magazine is celebrating 40 years of the LGBTQ experience, and Queer News Tonight is celebrating our 5th anniversary with more than 10,000 LGBTQ television stories. We will produce the 25th anniversary of our Stonewall Pride Parade and Festival on June 14th. Our magazine, events, television news, talk, and entertainment shows support our mission to educate the LGBTQ and broader community.
In 2025, more than 100 anchors will host this show to support the LGBTQ+ community. So let's meet today's anchors at Queer News Tonight. Let's welcome anchor Vaughn Biggs. I love this guy. He is a community outreach coordinator at Holy Cross Health, a vice chair of the Ryan White Part A Planning Council, and a founding board member of TransEd. Vaughn, so Deerfield Beach supports LGBTQ seniors all the way at their health fair and Expo on January 29th. Tell me what's happening.
Absolutely. I mean, as we've talked about before, a lot of our community is aging. And in South Florida, we have a higher percentage of aging individuals than anywhere else in the state. So it's a great opportunity for Holy Cross to be there. Obviously, the partnership with Deerfield Beach, the community cares, and bring in the Senior Expo. It's a vital event. It's designed to serve the needs of seniors. And I think one of the important things is it's a way to make sure that we're enhancing their quality of life. And, you know, it's Wednesday, January 25th. From 10 to noon, 12:30, so it's not that long of an event at the Johnny L. Tigner Community Center. It's an important program for South Florida and Holy Cross.
100%. You know, we can't leave our seniors behind. That
Please
happens
don't.
so often. And I'm looking at you, Greg. You know what I mean? No, I mean, but honestly, we're always thinking, I mean, at the end of the day, right, when it comes to our youth, there are children. And it comes to our seniors, they're our past. They're the reason why we're here. They are the shoulders that we're standing on, right? And we're so quickly forget when the beauty fades and the youth fades, we forget about people. We can't. And this expo is so important. So everybody's got someone a little older in their family. Greg, I'll be bringing you to Deerfield Beach that day.
Way to go.
But it's important services. It's
Absolutely.
important things that need to be also checked out and helped with, right, Will?
Some people are just afraid to go to doctors, and this gives them a viewpoint just to go look at it and talk to people and get to feel more comfortable, because, you know, what you don't know is really going to hurt you and possibly kill you.
Right.
And I love that it's outside of what you think of as like Fort Lauderdale and Wilton.
Yeah.
It's Deerfield Beach, which is,
Right.
that's kind of a cool idea that it's going outside there.
Well, it's
Absolutely.
good because they're tapping into a demographic of our LGBTQ+ community that isn't so, city-centric and stuff. So that's wonderful. But getting the message out there,
Yeah.
it's so important for somebody like me because, I'm getting to a certain age, and so I want to know the resources and I want to know things that are available in my community. So, these type of fairs are just so knowledgeable, and, they point you in the right direction.
Right, and so important. So thank you so much to Holy Cross for bringing that to us.
Absolutely.
And Queer News Tonight looks forward to seeing you at Deerfield Beach Senior Expo on January 29th. Let's welcome anchor Will Haas. I love it. Will is a bi-coastal real estate professional and is the past president of South Florida's most popular gay social club. You know them, you love them, the Bears of South Florida. Will, so Rainbow Kickers, I love the name, by the way. Rainbow Kickers' third season is here. Tell me what's happening.
So Rainbow Kickers is an LGBTQ plus and straight ally kickball league in Naples, Florida. We're celebrating our third season. And we play in Fleischman Park in the football fields. We go 10 to 12, 2 games, all different levels of competition. We have people coming from Cape Coral, Fort Myers, Naples. And we get some fun, we get some exercise, we laugh, we joke. And of course, we're gay. We're going to go to brunch afterwards.
I love it.
It's a great way to get exercise, make some friends. For more information, rainbowkickers@gmail.com, or else you can follow our Facebook page. I play. It's a blast. There's everybody from 20 to 70 and everybody in between. I'm kind of in between, just to make it clear. It's a great league, and it brings Naples together in our area too.
Right.
People forget the West Coast isn't that far away, and we got things going on too.
And they have the best sunsets over there.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my goodness. And make a weekend of it. Okay, Naples is not that far. It's 2 hours away.
Right.
It's not that serious. It really isn't.
We can wait in traffic
But
that
you
long.
could make you could make a day of it and go out there early and spend the day and then get back right in time. To go to bed. So it's a beautiful, beautiful drive, right? And kickball I can get behind.
It's fun, yeah.
Like, when it comes to dodgeball, it's such a bully sport, right? I hate that. When it comes to softball, I know I'm a lesbian, but I'm not that athletic. Kickball I can do.
You can show off your legs too. So.
And I can off my legs.
Do they need cheerleaders?
Yes, if you don't want to play, we have a lot of people come to the sidelines and wait for brunch afterwards.
So how many of you all play kickball in high school or in grade school?
I avoided
Day
sports.
camp.
Yeah.
I think that was the one sport that I can remember myself actually playing,
Right?
and actually
Exactly.
kind of doing a little well. But,
Right?
anything else didn't interest
Right,
me.
no.
But
Yeah,
Agreed.
no, I'm an Edward. Queer News Tonight looks forward to seeing you all at Rainbow Kickers' third season and Southwest LGBTQ. Your cousins in South Florida see you. We'll see you then. Let's welcome anchor Edward Otto Zielke. He's had a successful career in financial marketing and still does, and serves as the director of marketing and sponsorship for the Gay Men's Chorus of South Florida. Edward, God, you never stop. GMCSF and the Bears of South Florida host community sing-along at Hunters on February 1st. Tell me what's happening.
Yes, that's right. The Gay Men's Chorus of South Florida, the Bears of South Florida, and Hunters Nightclub are teaming up to bring the community sing-along on February 1st. This fun event brings an old-fashioned community sing-along into the bar. It's also an excellent demonstration that our community works and plays together. Tickets are just $10 in advance or $15 at the door. The event promises to celebrate togetherness, featuring our DJ Richie Rich, and doors open at 2:30, and the singing starts from 3 to 5. For more information, you can visit gmcsf.org. And I just want to also acknowledge how it's been such a pleasure to be working with the Bears of South Florida, and that's because of this gentleman that's sitting next to you, William Haas.
Appreciate it.
Because, it was under his leadership, we've really established such great events that we're working with the community, not just the sing-along, but the Teddy Bear Drive. And they've also awarded us, our organization, a wonderful grant that's going to help, support our Pride concert this June. So we're just really, we just can't thank you guys enough. You do so much, not just for us, but so many other people here in the community. But we're so excited to have you, as a sponsor for this sing along.
It's a great event, but can I get a roar out of you? Come on.
I was practicing it.
Come on, go one more time.
Okay.
1, 2, 3. There you go.
You did it so
All
well.
right. Yes.
And it was in tune and everything. How perfect is that?
We're practicing for the sing along.
I love it.
Are the words like
The
You have
words
to
are on
know
the
the
screen.
song
No, the
on
words
the
are on the
screen.
screen. This thing,
Yeah.
this is not the first time they're having this.
Yeah.
Okay, the last time it was so much fun, and all the musical
they
geeks
play-
were there. All the people who can't sing were there. Like
Yeah.
it was just fun.
And yeah, it's just camaraderie, having fun. You know, a lot of times I remember growing up in New York City in the '90s, and the bars there, they would play all of these musical Mondays and stuff, and you know, people would just get together and drink and sing along and stuff, and that's what we're kind of bringing back to South Florida, because you know, we don't feel that, I think, a little bit in community and music and togetherness and piano bars enough. You know, we've got some good representation, so hopefully this brings it out more.
And you forget about life for a while. You just drink, you have fun. I mean, I'm like show attitude because I can't sing at all, but you know.
But he still does.
Yeah.
But he
And
still
you
partakes.
show up.
Yeah.
That's important.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, both of you, it's a wonderful thing to see when two nonprofits collaborate that way in such a wonderful, earnest kind of way. You know, I always unfortunately see that like nonprofits feel like if you have it, then I can't have it, right? But there is, if we believe in abundance, there's abundance for all of us. And you both working together is just such a beautiful team.
And it's
you know?
important to have a good like business partner too, like Hunters, because they're so
Yes.
generous in
Yeah.
their time and their
Mark's
space.
great.
Yes.
And it's just so enjoyable just to be there and just to have them as a partner with us.
Yes, big shout out to Mark and Diego and
Absolutely.
Bruce
Yes.
and everybody over there. Those folks, I think they live there. Because, I mean, literally, I think they live there. They're
I mean, this
working
is the
24
work
hours
that
a
we
day.
need. This is the work that we need to see in this community, especially now.
Yes, yes. Well, Queer News Tonight looks forward to seeing you all at the community sing-along at Hunters on February 1st. Let's welcome anchor Gregg Shapiro. That's Greg with 2 G's, baby. He is an inductee into the Chicago LGBT Hall of Fame. Greg is the author of 2 short story collections and 7 books of poetry. Greg, Outshine Film Festival, one of our favorites, is hosting its famous Cocktails in Cinema on January 23rd. Tell me what's happening.
We love Dino.
Yeah.
Outshine Film Festival brings its famous Cocktails and Cinema event on January 23rd at 7:30 p.m. to O Cinema South Beach. The special film will be LIZA, a truly terrific, absolutely true story. Directed and co-produced by Bruce David Klein, it stars Liza Minnelli, Mia Farrow, and Ben Vereen, among others. This tribute brings into focus the complex period of Liza Minnelli's life, starting in the 70s, just after the tragic death of her mother, Judy Garland. The unique film program includes complimentary cocktails and a party after the film. For more information, visit outshinefilm.com. Okay, how much do we all love Liza with a Z?
With a Z.
So
remember.
much. And this, I've seen clips. I haven't actually seen the full documentary. It just looks wonderful because it's her history, but it's also just her what's happening in her life now and what a life she has had.
Yeah.
So this sounds like a fantastic event. And of course, Outshine, leave it to them to come up with something so brilliant.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, this is, you know, Liza Minnelli, queer icon, right?
Yeah.
Anybody dresses up like her, sings a song like her, references a movie
Exactly.
about her,
My
we're
husband-
all like, yeah.
My husband has done her in drag, so yeah.
Right?
for
Oh
sure.
my God.
Yeah.
So it's, you know, I mean, come on, it's fantastic. And I love Outshine for bringing us a movie that we haven't seen in a while, right? Many years like, oh my God, I'd love to see Mia Farrow again on the big screen,
Yes.
you know? O Cinema is also incredible in everything that they do down there in Miami. So awesome that they are collaborating with Outshine Film Festival,
partnership.
Dino, Mark, and all those people, because they're always coming up with new inventive ways to like make us go to the movies, you know? And I adore that.
And we love it,
And
right?
add some cocktails to it. You know, that's all we need right there.
Life's a cabaret, my friend.
Right there. The Queer News Tonight looks forward to seeing you all at Outshine Film Festival's Cocktails and Cinema event, LIZA, a truly terrific, absolutely true story on January 23rd.
And of course, let's welcome tonight's lead anchor, FayWhat. She's my best friend. I have to say she is. She's a legendary events host, television and radio personality, and the host of Hotspots Happening Out, the FayWhat Show. Faye, Dancing with South Florida Stars comes to the Manor on January 27th. Tell me what's happening.
I'm so excited. Bobby Blair, Brian Neal, and the Manor Live are bringing Dancing with the South Florida Stars on January 27th. If you missed it last year and you were kicking yourself because you did, here's your chance, all right? So it's modeled after the famous television show. The event will benefit Wilton Manor's Stonewall Pride Parade and Street Festival. VIP red carpet will be from 7 p.m. to 7:45 with a silent auction starting at 8. Tickets start at only $50. Fort Lauderdale's Mayor Dean Trantelis and Wilton Manor's Mayor Scott Newton are the judges, along with guest Gary Santos, Gary Kasuda, George Kessinger, and Tiffany Arriagas. Velvet Lenore and Eric Restivo will host the main event, while Kitty Meow will be hosting the red carpet. Celebrity teams will compete for the Mirror Ball Trophy. More information about the event can be found on Facebook, on the Facebook page, and also at Hotspots Happening Out events. I'm so excited for this, okay? Bobby Blair bringing this to us a second year in a row. Last year it was incredible. My brother Tony Lima and Velvet Lenore won the coveted prize last year. So some tough competition that, you know, for this year. Let me tell you some of the people that are actually singing, that are dancing this year.
Yeah.
Kelly Raspberry and Eric Lagarcha are one of the teams, right? They're representing Out.com and The Advocate. Melissa St. John, who is an icon, all right, is with a representative from out South Florida, and she's keeping that under wraps, who that is, okay? Rick Leonard is going to be dancing with the incredible Miss Bouvier, all right? So that's going to be an awesome group, awesome team. Voz Allen, who I love, who works at Aquaplex, who is one of the incredible ladies out there, is going to be also dancing, representing Scandals, and she's not saying who her partner is either. So it's going to be some incredible competition to see who wins this year's coveted trophy in a fun, wonderful environment, especially what we need during a time like this and at the Manor. I mean, like, I can't wait personally.
I mean, dancing and our people in the community, absolutely.
Right.
Let's do it.
Yeah. Well,
I'm just waiting for us to get up there. Right?
I can't dance, but I'd love to sit in judgment of others. So I'm available to judge next year.
It is so much fun when the community, you know, emulates something like Dancing with the Stars and brings it to our community to help raise, you know, funds for good causes and stuff. And, you know, people get the concept and they can have a lot of fun with it, you know. So I'm personally looking forward to it.
Well, and I love that they always put together a person from our community, a person from a nonprofit, an entertainer, whatever it is, with a legit dancer, like a, you know, someone who has studied, someone who knows how to do this. Where it would be, I have 3 left feet. I'd be like, where do we start? Like, what do I do? Like, you know, I'll just. I don't think that would help.
Jazz hands.
Jazz hands all up and down the dance floor. That's all I would have, you know. So we will see everybody there. It's going to be a great time.
Queer News Tonight looks forward to seeing you at Dancing with the Stars South Florida Stars on January 27th.
Now, let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ story for today. I'm FayWhat, and let's queer up the USA view. So some stuff happened today. Trump 2.0 was sworn in, and LGBTQ America buckles their seatbelts. It's January 20th, 2025, and it's a new day in America. History was made. 3 LGBTQ embracing presidents sat in the Capitol Rotunda to see a change of epic proportions. Until 2020, Barack Obama was considered the most embracing queer community president in history. Today, Joe Biden ended his 53-year Washington era as being the most LGBTQ embracing president in history. But on this inauguration day, it was clear that there is a new sheriff in town. And in the first few minutes, he created dramatic changes to the LGBTQ landscape. Trump will sign executive orders that will change years of LGBTQ progress made, including ending diversity programs, changes in education, and redefining what America publicly thinks about the diversity in the LGBTQ plus community. In the first moments after his swearing in, Trump delivered the most political inauguration speech in American history in front of history's most important advocates in politics, business, and faith. Florida finally gets its first president of the United States. Among significant highlights at the swearing-in ceremony was his declaration that the U.S. was going to embrace free speech in social media. All the major tech companies were sitting right behind Donald Trump after donating $1 million to the inauguration each. And it is clear now why. Trump is going to embrace the Twitter and new Meta policies to remove LGBTQ plus support and allow unfettered and inaccurate claims against the queer community in social media. He said that military policy would immediately end to stop what he calls a radical social experiment. He is referring to ending DEI, including drag shows, trans participation in the military, celebration of prides, and more. It became clear today why so many major corporations have said they will not participate in DEI programs. They saw the playbook that Trump will bring about today. He fulfilled his promise in the speech to change the name of the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America, and that he was taking back the Panama Canal from Panama. He said, quote, "We returned the Panama Canal to Panama. We did not give it to China," end quote. as 20,000 guests sat nearby at the Capital One Arena. The biggest single applause and cheer was when Trump said that American policy will be that there are only two genders, male and female. Later, as Biden was boarding Marine One to leave Washington, the crowd at the arena chanted the famous cheer, "Nah, nah, nah, goodbye," meaning to Biden. During a speech after the inauguration, Trump again said tonight that the so-called J6 hostages would be freed. He said we are talking about 99% of them. Inauguration Day made it very clear that the sun sets on the LGBTQ America we knew yesterday and tomorrow. A sun rises on an America that will change dramatically. The queer community buckles up for these changes. Folks, I will say that I did not fulfill my complete duty as lead anchor of this show because I did not watch the inauguration today, okay? And I did that honestly, clearly for my mental health, okay? I had to choose my mental health before picking this seat at this table. So for that, I apologize to you because I could not get myself to see anything that had to do with today. I feel bad. I feel hopeless. I feel angry. I feel scared predominantly, mostly. Just thinking about the my LGBTQ plus friends who are in the military and still want to serve. Still thinking about my trans siblings. He started his day off saying, America's better. We've got two genders, male and female. He made that distinctly clear, making it that it's going to be a focal point from day one. I'm in fear. I'm scared. I know there will be plenty of memes about Melania's hat and all this kind of stuff, but I'm not there yet. I'm in utter fear as to what happens now. Day one, he's already setting the path and it's not looking pretty.
No, he struck fear in the hearts of millions of people, millions. And I'm not sure that there are seatbelts secure enough for what LGBTQ America is about to face during Trump 2.0, aka the Retribution Tour.
I did see the inauguration. I did watch it because I knew we were probably going to talk about the show tonight. It is a little scary. And, at least I watched, I know what we're up against. And as a community, this gives us a chance to band together and do our best. And we always do our best when we have our challenges. We have to look at it that way. We have 4 years. We have to deal with it. Let's figure out and deal with it as a community and embrace each other.
Mm-hmm. I was like you, Faye. I really just couldn't watch this today. It wasn't something that was on my list today to do. But I do want to take this opportunity to thank, President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris for a wonderful 4 years and for, all of the great positive work. He championed so wonderfully for the LGBTQ plus community. And it's going to be a challenge for, some of our transgender and non-binary, community members, in the next 4 years. And, I just know that I will be supporting them and their communities and, and doing everything that I can, to uplift, and spread the good word about it, because as we all know, as sometimes, governments change hands, in 4 years it could change, or even in 2 years it can change. Yeah. So, and we've been through this before. Yeah. And we've survived, but that's the resilience of our community.
100%. I remember when Kamala was announced, right? When she was going to be running. I want to grab some of that hope that I had for those couple of weeks when Kamala was running for president, and that I just I felt that there might be a possibility that things would change. I was utterly wrong, unfortunately, but that hope that I had, I bottled a little bit and I put it away just in case I might need it, right? And I might go to it very often in these next 4 years, But like you boys said, unification is the key. That is the only way that we will get past this. Unfortunately, there are talks from white gay men that are saying, okay, this is the point. This will be the moment that we could break free, right? We can now continue with getting what we need to get done, and let's just not take the T with us. Let's not take the Q plus with us. You've
heard this.
I've heard this, and it's now and it's now more than ever a time to not do that. It's to completely go the opposite way. And know that the reality is that the four of you being white gay men, if you don't tell anybody you're gay, no one's going to know. Okay. But our trans siblings many don't have that luxury.
Right.
And they're the ones who I fear for.
I look at, I've got 4 friends who actually are trans men that are in the Air Force. So that, that's obviously very concerning.
And
that they want to still serve for their country
Exactly.
baffles me.
Right.
And it's not even, we can't even begin about, transgender in sports, playing,
Right.
we've had conversations about this around this table with, bans already happening for that. This is already becoming a big setback for that as well.
Completely. Gender affirming care for kids here in Florida has ceased.
Yeah. But I have to have, and I'm going to say it, I'm going to be the eternal optimist because after all, today is Martin Luther King Day.
Oh my God, you're right. You're right.
And
Ugh.
we've been here before, as Edward said. So it's a matter of how we rise up and how we overcome and rise up together.
Great point. Thank you, Vaughn, for being that optimist. I needed to hear that, right? And isn't that awful that like MLK Day fell to the wayside at that moment completely, instead of thinking what MLK might say, might do. I know he had his own stance when it came to LGBTQ, and it wasn't all perfect, but he was all about love.
Right.
And that was what he stood for.
Right.
And that is what we need to embrace and remember, especially when we think of those in our community most affected. Well, we'll be giving you more news for the next 4 years about, Cheeto Face and the rest. So we will be here to follow up and be that beacon of hope for all of you and bring those stories to you no matter what, because that is what Queer News does and what Happening Out Television Network will continue to do. So that is the big LGBTQ story for today, and there is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Make sure you support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight.
Now let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ story for today. I'm Vaughn Biggs, and let's queer up health. New report shows 15% of the world's population are living with STIs, but 35% for LGBTQ. A startling new study in sexually transmitted infections reveals that 15% of the world's population, including 35% of the LGBTQ individuals, live with incurable genital herpes. Researchers estimate that in 2020, over 846 million globally were infected with herpes simplex virus, HSV, with 42 million new cases reported that year alone. Despite antiviral treatments reducing symptoms and transmission risk, the stigma and health impacts remain significant, especially within queer communities. Among LGBTQ affected, the numbers were overwhelmingly gay and bisexual men. Advocates stress the urgent need to new treatments and vaccines to address these growing numbers. The report draws into question as to why LGBTQ are facing more than double the number of incurable STIs compared to their heterosexual counterparts. This global health crisis emphasizes the importance of education, awareness, and funding for STI prevention and care, particularly for the LGBTQ community. The fact that 35% of the LGBTQ individuals are living with incurable is a stark reminder that our health disparities and community faces. We must ensure that everyone in our community has access to accurate information and prevention measures that are necessary for healthcare services. The fight against STIs is not a medical issue. It's a social issue.
Yeah.
And that requires collective action and dedication. So let's use this report as a catalyst for change.
Yeah. And again, Holy Cross is a safe space for you to go to if you need to know what you have, right? Knowing your status all across the board is super important, right? We've talked about the disparities that we have between healthcare and LGBTQ. I even talked on my show last week about someone had sent me an email on Dear FayWhat asking me why their doctor was sex shaming them. Right? A doctor that they went to, that they told their history to, they told how active they were, but they were trying to be a safe slut, right? By making sure that, that they didn't get anything, that their partners weren't affected. And instead of getting support, he got a doctor who sex shamed him, and my immediate answer was go to Holy Cross, go to CAN, go to Pride Lines, go somewhere else, because it's just, you don't need to go through that anymore in this day and age. We have LGBTQ certified practitioners, right, that understand your needs because they're in community, and we have allies that also understand your needs and are in community. When you talk about STIs, especially you said herpes, someone can have a flare up and you have no idea.
Right.
So you think it's like, I went to have sex with them and I didn't see a lesion. I didn't see anything. Maybe they weren't showing at that time, but you're walking away with a new present.
The Bears in December for a pool party we had Can Community Health come out with their mobile unit, and they did HIV and STI testing, and it was a good success for us and for participants. So the Bears are trying to step up to make themselves aware of it.
It's so important.
Yeah.
It's so important. Edward, what do you think?
Well, we've partnered with AHF here, and in one of our concerts as our sponsors, they did some testing in front of for our Pride concert last year rather. So, we definitely love our partners. Holy Cross is also one of our partners too, so we definitely get out the word with them. We have, a 200+ membership, so, health is always on all of our minds as well. So, we're always big advocates.
I want to say it's interesting because I know at Holy Cross, we have some programs and people come in through the emergency department and get tested, and it's surprising the numbers.
Were you surprised at 35%? That's a high-ass number, Vaughn. That's
I was.
huge.
It shows our lack of education and our lack of not caring when it comes to sex.
Well, how about if it's not, maybe it's not caring. Maybe it's just fear,
Or ignorance.
Or ignorance, or just saying, the F it button. Nothing's going to happen to me. I'm not going to get it, or I'm not going to give it to someone.
Superman, right?
Or you see the hot piece of chocolate twink looking all rico and yummy, and you can't wait to unwrap it, and you're not thinking of what can happen tomorrow, and you should.
Right.
All the blood from your brain has moved out. But I do find it fascinating that we're doing this story on the day that a man who is the personification of a recurring herpes lesion is returning to the Oval Office.
Wow. So that is the big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ plus stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight.
Now let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ story for today. I'm William Haas, and let's queer up business. Instagram blocks #queer, #gay, #lesbian to teens. Instagram has come under fire for blocking LGBTQ hashtags, including #gay, #lesbian, #queer, and #bisexual from teen accounts. Meta, Instagram's parent company, claims the issue was caused by a coding mistake. However, critics argue it reflects deep systematic bias. The block prevents teens from accessing supportive LGBTQ content, including advice and role models, something crucial for navigating identity. Advocates question whether this is an error or a preventive policy aligned with conservative political shifts. This news, along with the recent controversy where Meta announced new hate speech policies, is adding fuel to the sentiment against the social media giant. The new hate speech policies has allowed derogatory comments about women and LGBTQ individuals across Facebook and Instagram. The new policies also affect business community being able to talk about Meta users. Sponsored ads at Facebook and IG have completely been removed. Keywords embracing the LGBTQ, Black, and other marginalized communities. For example, you could have a sponsor message in Facebook that would show ads for users that like other LGBT programs, like RuPaul's Drag Race. All those associations have been removed. Activists report that the hashtag blocks have continued after the coding mistakes. The statement as Meta grapples with backlash. Many in the LGBT community view these changes as a step backwards in creating safe, inclusive space for young people online. The use of hashtags that reflect identity, gender, and orientation will likely continue to be managed by Meta platforms. It's a shame, we just talked about this a few weeks ago, how they're doing this in Australia, and it's really going to hurt these kids, and it's going to make things worse than better. You're not really protecting your kids. You're letting them out there so they go to other avenues to go and find what they need to find, and there's not as much fact base. Yeah. So I'm ashamed that this is happening. It's sad. And it's part of all the changes of what's going on in the government, and we have to figure out a way to go up against this and how we can make this change. Yeah,
and like you said, the kids are going to find it somewhere else. I understand, and they sell it to us like we're just trying to save the teens. We're just trying to save the children. There are queer, there are lesbian, there are gay youth.
Right.
They exist, and this hashtag represents them.
Right. And we also spoke about, social freedom, for social media freedom just a little while ago.
Yeah.
And we're doing just the opposite.
Yeah, but you know that Zuckerberg and Elon were there playing footsies today at the
yeah.
inauguration. I mean, come on, they all paid $1 million to the inauguration just to be there.
I know. Well, it is sad that Zuckerberg, with his tacky Tony Homepern, doesn't realize that Musk and Bezos laugh at him and call him names behind his back. He's like the sad loser that everybody was kicking around in school, and he's still that. But he's got zillions of dollars.
Yeah, he looks like Carrot Top.
He's very tragic, very
Right?
tragic. Yeah.
Tragically. And this is what we're going to be a part
Yeah,
of. You know,
that's
like
right.
Will said, like, okay, Donald Trump is basically just going to make one social media and it's none of us is going to, and none of it's going to include us.
Right.
Right.
I mean,
But-
they're all aligning. That's what you're seeing across a lot of these platforms. You know, I mean, TikTok. You know, I mean, you're seeing that from them as well. So,
Yeah.
you know, I'm not surprised, to be quite honest. You know, the new government is here, and so they're just going to just, you know, obey whatever it is that they're throwing at you. So it's,
Yeah.
you know, it's unfortunate, yes, but hopefully, you know, in 4 years we can rectify all of that.
Yeah.
And that, you know, we've reported on, you know, like the Trevor Project, they've done so much work with our youth. And, you know, with suicide rates and within our LGBTQ youth, and removing this, it doesn't allow
Yeah.
them to do the research that they kind of want to do before they can talk to somebody. So we've got to find other ways to help them.
I just got
you know.
goosebumps because, you know, the Trevor Project comes out with that report
Right.
every single year. And every single year, the percentage goes up and up of the percentage of kids who have even thought about killing
Right.
themselves. Okay. That is such a drastic move. And it's like, it's how dark you must feel to think about just offing yourself.
It's so important to have these hashtags because it's allowing teams to actually click and find a community that also follows this particular hashtag too. So when you take those tools away from them, then they can't relate to people that they are their own peers. So yeah, I mean, it's doing a very big disservice.
But then it becomes sort of up to Trevor Project and other organizations to find a way to reach them if they can't be reached on social media.
Yeah.
If you think about it, when we grew up, I mean, I was gay. It's like I felt isolated. I didn't have a hashtag or anything else, social media, you know. So we're creating that atmosphere again where you're isolated, you're alone, you get depressed, you know, and suicidal, you know.
Yeah, or you stay in the closet.
Yeah.
Or you're just depressed for the rest of your life and you're that sour
afraid.
person. You know that sour neighbor that you
Yep.
have that just gets pissed off over everything? He or she might be in the closet. All right? And they've been that way for a very long time. And this is what we're going back to, Will. We're literally going decades back.
True.
That is what you're telling me.
Yes.
Because I'm like, well, yeah, we didn't have social media back then and they still had to reach the queer kids. And it's just, we're more aware now. We'll figure out different ways to reach the kids. Trevor
course.
Project will figure it out for sure. That is the big LGBTQ story for today, and there is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight.
Now let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ plus story for today. I'm Edward Otto Zielke, and let's queer up the world view. Did TikTok go dark to be saved by Trump? What is happening at TikTok and in Washington? The app has widely been exposed as a national security danger because of TikTok link to the Chinese government. The popular video sharing app with 170 million US users briefly went dark on Saturday due to a ban upheld by the Supreme Court. However, President-elect Donald Trump announced he would delay the ban upon taking office, ensuring the app's return. In a rally on Sunday, Trump declared, "We have no choice, we have to save it," adding that the U.S. will pursue a joint venture to safeguard national security while keeping TikTok operational. Hours later, TikTok began restoring services with a message thanking Trump for his efforts. TikTok CEO Xiao Zhi expressed gratitude, saying, quote, "On behalf of everyone at TikTok and all of our users across the country, I want to thank President Trump for his commitment to work with us to find a solution that keeps TikTok available in the United States. And we are grateful and pleased to have the support of a president who truly understands our platform," end quote. The app's disappearance had left millions of users and businesses scrambling, with the web services for VPNs spiking as users sought workarounds. This development highlights the evolving intersection of technology, social media, business, international intrigue, and politics. Trump's once an advocate for banning TikTok, now positions himself as the savior. Analysts note that this shift could bolster his influence over TikTok and its user base, which include LGBTQ plus influencers too. Well, that is definitely a concern because as someone, who does storytelling for his nonprofit organization that I'm proud to work for, I rely on these apps like TikTok and to get, the message out that our chorus is giving for our community. And so I'm just hoping that, with the new government and the new guidelines coming in that, that our voices will still be heard.
Yeah, I wonder what shifted. Money shifted. That's what happened, basically, okay? Because Trump was just like, let's get rid of TikTok, screw China, I don't want to have any part of this app. And now all of a sudden, what happened? Kiss the ring. You know how I say, like, everybody's just kissing the ring. And that's basically it. To have, when I went into TikTok and saw that it had disappeared and there was basically a love fest to Trump, I was like, what? And then for them to like literally say, thank you, Trump. If it wasn't for you, we wouldn't be able to be back here. And it's like the propaganda started immediately. Okay. When I turned it back on, there's an episode in the Terminator. There's a part in the Terminator where Arnold Schwarzenegger is being pulled into the lava. Right. Well, the first thing I saw was something like that. And then it was Donald Trump being pulled out of the lava. Right. And it was like, and then it was America the Beautiful. And then it was something else. And then I was like, oh, wow, this is what it's going to turn into, a live action Twitter. Basically,
I found it funny that Trump wasn't even president yet, and this was already happening.
Kiss the ring. Kiss the ring. Everybody is literally turning over and kiss the ring.
It was so blatant, and I was actually on the app itself as this was happening. So it was just very eye-opening as it was happening, and then all of a sudden it all turning back on, mysteriously as well. And then, I think there's a little more to the story, to be quite honest. I think it's not just with government too, but I'm just wondering kind of like, what it is that, that really was, because it kind of felt a little
staged.
Yeah. Planned.
Very staged. Yeah. Very staged, and the writing, everything was just like super staged. Right. A law banning TikTok has been enacted in the U.S. Unfortunately, that means you can't use TikTok for now. But we're fortunate that the President Trump has indicated that he will work with us on a solution that will take 4 hours, right? And then we'll be back for you.
It makes a good TikTok story.
Right.
Right. And then now Meta, now Facebook has a TikTok page. I mean, things that didn't happen before are now slowly happening.
Shady dealings. TikTok should think about changing its name to Tisk Tisk for the way it's cuddling up to the incoming POTUS. With that in mind, TikTok might also want to get tested for the herpes simplex virus.
Like I almost feel sorry for the people who make all their money on TikTok. Okay, almost. Okay, because I'm also like leave the house and go, and try to find another job. Unfortunately, like the rest of us do. But and I could just imagine like their livelihood being taken away right there. People who have millions of followers who have worked so hard to get those followers, and then to have to lose them. So, I mean, I'm really curious as to now what happens. Now, what do we do on this TikTok forum? Like, do we leave? Like, today I had at least 5 Facebook messengers from people saying, listen, I'm planning on leaving Facebook and I still want to be in communication with you. So let me have your actual contact info, and I have a feeling that is going to happen a lot more with TikTok, Facebook, IG, and everything else with this happening.
Well, and there's Blue Sky, which is a better alternative.
I know, but I tried. It's not the same.
It doesn't work.
People don't go on there. It's not the same.
You have to reach out to people and get them to follow you there.
It's also going to affect people that are in my position in marketing and stuff too.
100.
Because, as speaking, you're an influencer, and so that it's important to get the word out about events and things like this. And so if we have to reinvent the wheel, we have to reinvent the wheel.
Wouldn't be the first time.
No.
Right, Edward? It wouldn't be the first time. We've always been able to spread our message. So to speak.
We're very creative.
I mean, they used to have this thing called MySpace.
There it is.
Stone tablet.
That part.
Von Biggs is going to start up his space. We're going to start it all over. So that is a big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight.
Now, let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ story for today. I'm Gregg Shapiro, and let's queer up entertainment. Dave Chappelle SNL on LA fires. West Hollywood was unscathed because they are already flaming. Comedian Dave Chappelle opened Saturday Night Live's first show with a 15-minute monologue that tackled a range of topics, from the Los Angeles wildfires to Donald Trump's upcoming inauguration. The monologue, marked by Chappelle's signature blend of humor and provocation, drew mixed reactions from viewers. Chappelle shared that executive producer Lorne Michaels had been persistent in booking him for the episode following the election, a request he initially refused. He said, quote, "The moment I said yes, LA burst into flames. And it's a tough one, you know what I mean? Because I'm tired of being controversial. I'm trying to turn over a new leaf. And it is way too soon to be doing jokes about a catastrophe like that," end quote. Chappelle acknowledged the weight of recent events and his participation with controversy, including with the LGBTQ community. Turning to conspiracy theories about the fires, Chappelle joked, quote, "There's just too many factors. If you were a rational thinking person, you have to at least consider the possibility that God hates these people, sodomites. But that's not true because West Hollywood was unscathed. How can you burn what is already flaming?" End quote. Not surprisingly, it was a very weak opening monologue full of his same old tired bullshit. However, it was unexpected to hear him talking about having empathy when he is lacking that ability. Perhaps the best part of the monologue was the focus on his prodigious basket or possible pants prosthesis, which has become a thirst trap on social media for multiple gay men. So obviously he wasn't wearing anything. Maybe he's wearing loose boxers or something, and there was a schlong for days as he sat on his stool. Or maybe it was purchased.
Anybody else? What do you guys think about? Did you see SNL? I'm a huge fan. No?
I didn't watch the episode, to be quite honest.
I watched it, and it wasn't funny, but at least he didn't do anything really bad about the LA fires. I mean, he was kind of, neutral about it. I mean, he made some fun, but it really wasn't making fun of the people in general.
Well,
The one thing he did say at the end was that he's basically telling Trump, hey, you learn from what you made mistakes last time you were here.
Yeah.
The world needs you. Humanity needs you.
And try to have some empathy.
Try to be a good person, yes.
Yeah,
I mean, that's one thing he did say that was really positive, that struck home to me.
Well, I am a Dave Chappelle fan. Sorry, Greg. I've loved Dave Chappelle ever since I was a kid. Dave Chappelle holds the Guinness record for the longest comedy set. And it was in San Francisco, and it was 7.5 hours, and I was there. And all 7.5 hours was freaking hysterical, and he was just sitting there talking shit, okay? And it was hysterical to me, okay? And my community, my Black and brown community, that's what I think, that is why I thought I found so much humor in it. Fast forward to a couple of years ago where we became the butt of his joke, especially the trans community, and that's where I draw the line, right? He can make fun, the gay community has always been the butt of many jokes. Ha, 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 pansy, fairy, ha, 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 I think those are easy go-to jokes. I don't think that takes much talent to write, right? I really don't. And I really do believe that Dave Chappelle is a genius in his own way, okay? What he has presented to us has garnered him notoriety among everything, and with that comes money, right? I will say that I did see his monologue. It was the longest monologue that SNL has ever had. They have never had a 15-minute monologue, so they allowed him to do whatever he wanted to do because he's Dave freaking Chappelle, right? But I also think it was a subdued Dave Chappelle, okay? He only had one joke about us, and it was the West Hollywood joke that wasn't even really that good. He didn't go in on trans like he usually does. He didn't go in on gay like he usually does, and he spent a lot of time on Jimmy Carter.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Am I right? Am I telling the truth? Right.
For sure.
So, so who knows? Maybe Dave remembers that he's Black. Okay, and that that Trump is also has plans for many other marginalized communities. I don't know.
But it was very strange too, the way he was out there in a suit and tie
and sitting
down.
And
he was smoking a cigarette. It was almost like he was trying to be a throwback to sort of older comic styles, but there wasn't, other than maybe Don Rickles, there just isn't that level of insult that he does. And he just tosses that around like he doesn't even care.
Yeah. Yeah. And I, for one, am happy that WeHo is unscathed. I lived nearby, and like just to see Runyon Canyon was like my end all and be all. I would take that. I would do that hike every single day, and I was not in my best place mentally, and it really saved me a lot. So to see so many parts of Hollywood up in flames, Malibu, and it makes me really mad when people say things like, "Well, those people are rich. Who cares?" Right? Like that's being
still
a disgusting human.
For sure.
They're still people. Yeah.
They're still people. Sure. So, I mean, I'm going to give him a little bit of credit just because, one, he didn't go all out on us. This could change tomorrow. He could be hired by Trump to freaking host something else, right?
Sounds like he wants to be.
Snoop Dogg, right? Look at Snoop Dogg, right? You just never know who we're going to lose, right? But, I don't think it was his best work. I will agree with you, right? And, let's see. Let's see. It's Dave Chappelle. You never know where he's going to go next, right? Let's see what Netflix gives him another special, right? He had like 15 specials last year. Jeez. So that is the big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight. Now let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ plus story for today. I'm FayWhat, and let's queer up South Florida and Florida. My Hollywood Pride moves festival for better security and greater celebration January 26th. The world's first Pride of the year is back, baby. Pride starts here. My Hollywood Pride returns Sunday, January 26th from 1 to 7 p.m. It was originally announced that the event would move to the iconic Arts Park at Young Circle. But this week, My Hollywood Pride announced a move to return to Hollywood Boulevard and downtown. Security concerns for the festival were cited as the need to move the event. This family-inclusive event promises local food, live music, entertainment, and cultural exhibits. This year's theme, Keep It 100, celebrates the city of Hollywood's centennial and its perfect 100% equality score from the Human Rights Campaign's Municipal Equality Index, an achievement led by the Hollywood LGBTQ Council. Hollywood's Pride began in 2022. My Hollywood Pride began in 2022, marking the city's first perfect score. Now, with its 100th anniversary, the city is celebrating its growth as a hub for inclusivity and community pride. You can join the fun and honor a city that's keeping equality and celebration at its heart. There are many events being celebrated all week long, including a comedy show, business networking event, film programs, and parties. For more information, visit myhollywoodpride.com. I'm so excited to be hosting for a third year. I trust the Hollywood LGBTQ plus Council. I trust My Hollywood Pride. If they thought that they needed to move it from Arts Park to downtown Hollywood, where it's been the last 3 years and I've had a blast there, I'm fine with it. I trust their concerns. If it's a security measure and they felt the need to move it, so be it. You will get no backlash from me. The reality is that I have a built-in forgetter. I had already forgotten that they had moved the art. I had already moved that they forgot that they moved to Young Circle. I was probably going to end up downtown Hollywood anyway. Right?
Absolutely.
They've been there for 3 years. Don't mess me up that way. It's going to be a wonderful time. I'm going to be hosting the event with the very, very sexy Craig Stevens from Channel 7, right? He's always a lot of fun. I think it's both of us being there a third time also. And, it's time for food, fun, and celebration and having a wonderful time that you could bring your family, bring the dog, bring the kids to, and kick off Pride. We don't know what's going to happen with Prides after today. We really don't. I hate to be the Debbie Downer, but Pride starts here. This is the very first Pride anywhere in the country. So we've got to support it now more than ever.
Celebrate us.
Celebrate us.
Absolutely. And, Hollywood's always been great. I mean, it is a big, diverse community. So even though they do support the LGBTQ community, it's great to go to a lot of events that they've had there that we all feel welcome and safe. And it's never been a problem. And I love going to that event. So.
And the weather is supposed to be really good.
Yes.
Which is always a thing,
Yes.
And I'm really glad that they did keep safety in mind. That was a really important thing. And then the day before My Hollywood Pride on January 25th, there's the Hollywood Arts Committee is sponsoring an event called Art Hollywood. And I will be doing a noon poetry reading with lesbian poet Julia Marie Wade, our community friend Denise Duhamel, and Lenny Del Rocca at Mystic Coffee on Harrison Street in downtown Hollywood. So there's a lot of stuff going on this weekend in Hollywood. So it's all worth checking out.
I love that. My Hollywood Pride. We'll see everybody for the events beforehand and also on Sunday for the big event, 1 to 7 p.m. downtown Hollywood. That is the big LGBTQ story for today, and there is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight. Those are today's headlines from Queer News Tonight. These anchors represent the best of our LGBTQ plus and ally community.
If our community is important to you, share this news with your friends and family. Join the conversation on your favorite streaming platform.
Queer News Tonight is the only live LGBTQ digital television show in the world that is out of the closet and into the headlines.
We need your support. If our community is to grow and then thrive, we must tell our stories and bring them to the attention of the broader world.
This is the only place in the world that tells these types of LGBTQ stories in motion and sound. That is the passion of Hotspots Magazine, happening on Television Network and Queer News Tonight.
I'm your anchor, FayWhat! And on behalf of these LGBTQ reporters, the incredible anchors of Queer News Tonight, including Von Biggs, Will Haas, Edward Otto Zielke,
Come on, Ed, one more
What
time.
I am these days.
One more time, Ed. Come on.
Everybody do it with me. 1, 2, 3.
and Gregg Shapiro. We will see you daily at 8 p.m. to our LGBTQ plus world. We hope you will join us by embracing love, generosity, bravery, being transformative, and queer. Good night.